Hello everyone, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel and Train Sim World 3. It's a big day, isn't it, for the US content today. And I thought I'd take a first look at the NEC New York-Trenton route. This is the first time I'm looking at this. And I thought we would also run the Acela, because I want to do something really quick. Let's just jump into the to what you get on this route. There are 5 scenarios, first of all, that you can see there, various lengths between 30 minutes and an hour. Well, there's one there actually, an hour and 35, which I believe is going backwards and forwards from Newark Liberty Airport to New York Penn several times. That's quite a good one. That kind of represents a sort of part of a shift, doesn't it? So that's a good one, that's interesting. So there are 5 scenarios. Services in the timetable, 301 services. So you can see if you've got the Acela, which is a separate DLC, of course, a low-core DLC, which isn't tied to any particular route, as is the new norm. There's 65 services for the Acela Express, which is quite nice. We're going to run one of those. There is the ACS-64, which we're used to, 121 services for that. That's interesting. It tells me I've completed 15 services out of 121. I haven't done any services yet. So I don't know where that's come from. We've also got the multi-level commuter cab car and in the New Jersey Transit, 93 services for that. And then one that I really liked in the original TSW that came in right towards the end is the Amfleet cab car, and it's really nice to see that back. That was a separate DLC for the original NEC route that we had. 26 services for that one. And then we've got the ALP-46 New Jersey Transit, and this one has got 40 services. So let's pick an Acela one, as I say. We'll do something quick. Let's do 2153, which is Boston South Station to Washington. Operate an Acela Express service from New York Penn Station to Trenton. We'll leave the dynamic weather on. It says 1st of December, but I'm actually going to change that. Let's make it June, so we get to have a look at the route whilst we're doing this. Let's get started. Alright, here we go, 2153. Starting off in New York Penn. Let's get the doors unlocked. We will put that into neutral. Of course, this being a first look, I've got to remember where everything is. Let's have air conditioning we don't need. There's the wipers, should we need them. The wiper delay. Coming over to this side, what have we got? We have got the brake cutout, so that does need to be set to passenger, so that's already on the correct setting. There's the belt, should we need it. No motion bypass, not sure what that is. Different brakes. What's this one? There's nothing there to do. Right, the ditch lights are on automatic. Front headlight is on full, so that's good. One thing we need to do, because we haven't got a keyboard, is turn on the safety systems, which I believe are here. So we have got the ACES and the ATC. We'll put the alerter on. I've got to say it, I find on these American trains the alerter to be a bit of an annoyance, but being as this is a simulator, let's do that anyway. Let's have a quick look at the Acela. Looks very good, doesn't it? So we've got to wait till 10 o'clock. We'll put it into forwards and then we're ready to go. Now, there have been some changes to the safety systems since the previous NEC route that we had. Well, they basically didn't work very well at all, did they? it made more sense to turn them off in the original TSW. So we'll see how we get on. I'm not that familiar with them, but we'll try. So there's the doors locked. We shall take off the brakes. Brakes are coming off. Okay, we'll put some power on. So we've got to observe the speeds out of New York. It is quite slow in the tunnels. Apologies, by the way, if there's little breaks in my voice. I seem to have picked up a cold. I'm a bit chesty this morning, so bear with me. We've got 9 miles up to Newark Penn. So we'll have a look at these tunnels as well and see what's been done. I think the lighting looks a lot better. Don't forget, we are on the PS5. Just so you can compare the various platforms if you're watching this on several of the ambassadors' videos. We all play on different platforms, and I should say at this point, a big thank you again to Dovetail Games for allowing me access to this as part of the ambassador program. I do appreciate that. And I hope you guys are picking this up. This comes out today, along with the upgraded Boston Sprinter route. You can also get the Acela, as well as this New York-Trenton route. And there is also the Heritage pack as well for the freight, which we will look at in the coming days. But for now, I just want to give this Acela a good blast. So all I've done so far is a previous video that's on the channel, which was the introduction to the Acela, which actually takes place on the training centre route. So this is the very first time I've been on this New York-Trenton route. And I'm really looking forward to this. We're just waiting for the line speed to allow us to do the 60, which we're permitted to do under the ACES. There we go. Let's put some throttle in. I will say one thing, and I noticed this on the DTG stream last night. It's very quiet in the Acela. There is some, ambient sound on board, and you can just faintly hear the engine as it accelerates, but it is very quiet from that perspective. And they did say last night that is typical. That is a reflection of real life, so I'm happy with that. If you've been watching this channel for some time, you'll know already that I am a gamer first and foremost who has an interest in trains. A lot of the ambassadors are big train buffs, so I'm not as critical as some may be. So, if this is how it is in reality, I'm good with that. So we got 8 miles to Newark. I'll try and keep the speed up, see if we can get a good score this time on our first run. Once we get out of the tunnels, I will do some exterior camera as well. Something passing us on the other side. So we've come downhill in the tunnel. We're actually going up now on the other side. So many good memories, happy memories of the original NEC route, because that, for me was the first, the original TSW in 2018 was the first train simulator that I'd played, and the fact that it was on the console was brilliant. And I did play that original NEC route quite a lot, and as I mentioned at the beginning, I did have the DLC as well, which brought in the Amfleet cab car. There was also a DLC for the, I'm going to get the name wrong because it's a long time, the shunter. Was it the SW1000? you can drop a comment below if I've given the right or wrong name of that DLC. It's obviously been quite a long time since I played that, but there was a shunter which I think operated in Sunnyside Yard, and that was quite good. So I did spend many hours on the original NEC route and quite enjoyed it. One problem back then was, of course, the scenery popping. There was some really bad scenery. Let's all be honest. In the original one, in the distance, there was a bridge, and again, remind me what that bridge was called. There was a really big bridge that we went across, and it used to pop in sections. And I was playing on the PS4 then, so of course there wasn't as much beef in the PS4. So you know, the popping was very noticeable. Just keep an eye on these safety systems. It says overspeed. I'm not overspeeding at the minute. Let's have a look outside. And I mean, we should really have some horn action, shouldn't we? Let's take a screenshot first. That's quite a good one. And we do have a low and a high horn as well. Let's turn the bell off. Again, no keyboard, so we have to do it the old-fashioned way. We can speed up. I don't know why I'm getting that. Anybody know why I'm getting that overspeed warning down there on the bottom right? The red overspeed light, because I'm not overspeeding. I maybe did slightly to begin with, but I would expect that to clear unless there's something specific that I need to do. It's very smooth, this Acela. I like this. Once again, as I mentioned, not being a train buff, lots and lots of people said, when are you bringing out the Acela? When's the Acela coming out? On Boston Sprinter in particular. So I started going around having a look what the Acela was, because I'd not really heard of it. And actually, I took one look at it, and I saw some YouTube video of the real life Acela. And thought, actually, yeah, I do like the look of that. I didn't know that it was. Let me just. Oh, it's supposed to be on the braking curve, aren't I? Put it in suppression. Let's put it in suppression. Then we. It lets us do what we want to do. We're coming down to the 60, you see, on the braking curve. As long as I put it in suppression, it should allow me to. There we go. It doesn't give me an emergency. Yeah, the Acela. I did like the look of what I saw, and I thought, I hope it does come one day. We'll make a change from the ACS-64, and I'm really pleased actually that they've put it in. So far, I'm liking it. I like the whole cab. The cab's really nice, isn't it? It's very Pendolino-ish, isn't it? Which, of course, is another train that I do want. Now, we've got a 60 coming up in a mile, which will be in preparation for our stop at Newark Penn. So we'll accelerate just for now. This route, of course, has got the new lighting. It's all very nice and bright, isn't it? This is June. Set this to June, and it's all looking good. Now we've got the 60 coming up. So let's put it into suppression. Oh, it does look nice. I'm just using the automatic brake. And I will experiment with the other ways to brake. We've got the cruise control, of course, which I could actually set up once we... Let's see what the next distance is once we come out of Newark. And I could set the cruise control. We could do it that way. See the aircraft coming in. Quite a steep drop down into Newark. And we do have a 45 coming up. But I'm going to do my best to keep to time, if that's possible, with all the safety systems on. Because you know me, I will try anything on here. And this is how I found myself using PZB. Because, again, it's trial and error, isn't it? You're going to get emergency stops when you try these safety systems, but you must try them. If you've not tried them yet, try them. Actually, for these trains, for this route, if you go into the training centre, there are tutorials for these safety systems. I obviously haven't done them yet. I'm risking it, just on my knowledge with this run, just so we can take a first look. But there are some tutorials there if you want to run those. Okay, so we've got a 45 coming down to a 35 just before the station. I do remember this bridge in the old NEC. I think actually the cab car, the Amtrak cab car, only went as far as this bridge, if I remember rightly. I probably should have looked up the geography of this route prior to this stream, so that I could see where the old route ended and the new one carried on. But I do remember actually looking for collectibles. I went up these ramps at the side, I remember. I distinctly remember getting stuck at one point and not knowing how to get back down. I had to come all the way down the ramp again at one side to be able to get back down to the track level. And there were some corns or something here in the centre, just off to the left. Wow, that's a long time ago, is that? We've got nice water as well. Things have come so far since the first NEC route. So we'll put some brake on. What I'm going to do as well is get rid of those colour coding stopping distances. It seems to always default to back on once you play a new route. I always turn that off. I leave the stop marker on, but I do turn off the coloured lights on the track. The braking on this actually is fairly reasonable. Let's open the doors. Could see the panel there, the door control panel, open and shut as those doors were opening. But let me do what I said. Let me take off this quickly in the settings. It is the stop marker is what I want. Set that to off. We'll go back, and now the coloured lights should have gone. But yeah, this is the Acela. What a lovely train this is. There's my character. He's been with me. He's been the same character the whole way through on every route. Sometimes he wears a cap, sometimes he doesn't. He's now wearing a green shirt, it looks like. So we've got about a minute and a half, haven't we? Let's just have a look at the schedule. Once we leave Newark, we're straight through to Trenton. Straight through to Trenton, so that's good. We'll try the cruise control. We'll see if we can get that working. So this is an express service in the true sense of the word, so I don't mind that. There's an exit down to Market Street. Lots of people coming up. Are they getting on the train? Some of them are not so sure, are they? This is the Washington service. And of course, I think the other time we had the NEC route as well in the original, there wasn't such a thing as the ambient noise on the platforms. You couldn't hear people walking, or you couldn't hear, the background chattering of the passengers. And all that's come in since. Just enhances the overall feel and believability, doesn't it? So we'll wait until 10:15. Let's do the doors now. We've got a few seconds to go before we need to depart. Okay, so we've got 47 miles. So this route is 58 miles in total. And we got a 35 out of the station initially. Decent sized route. You know, I've said it before, I'll say it again. I love a route with a good run on it. And this is a good run. That 47 miles there, if I didn't have my hands on the controller, I'd be rubbing my hands together saying, yes, let's go. Love a good long route. But let's see if we can get there in one piece. That's the main thing. I want to make sure I don't trip these safety systems. I've probably put the mockers on it now. But we are bound for Trenton, Track 4, and we're due at 10:43, and it's coming up 10:16, so let's see how we go. Right, we can speed up to 70. Right, so let's do that. Let's use this. Let's go to 70, and we need to put this to the throttle to max effort. So I'm assuming, yeah. So the cruise control on the PlayStation, you can hold down square, and as you can with AFB, hold down square and use the right triggers to go up and down with whatever cruise speed you want. So let's do that. We'll set that to 70. We're coming up to 110 miles per hour. And we'll use it now into Trenton. But there's good level of detail is what I'm noticing on this track. The overhead lines look really good. I know some attention was paid to that last night on the DTG stream, and so it should. There's a lot of good detail there. Let's check it out. So we are about to go to 110. So let's do that. Let's use the cruise. So I'm increasing the cruise now to 110. And we got the throttle on max already, so that will take us up nicely to the 110. Let's get that bell off. So the acceleration is quite nice. There's an ACS-64 going the other way. So this route in particular, plenty to do on this route. As I said, we went through those services at the beginning. If you do pick up the Acela as well, remember the Acela isn't a standard loco or engine you get as part of this route. You will need to pick that up separately. But you can play that on Boston Sprinter and on this New York-Trenton route as well. The services on both Timetable Services, which is good. So we've got an 85 coming up. Actually, let's put the brakes in. Let's set the throttle off. Let's put this in suppression, because we've got to a 45 there. Right, let's put that down. We should probably turn the cruise control off. So can you see down the bottom right hand corner of the aces, it's counting down 94, 93, 92. So we're coming up to 85, so I can go back to the 85 now. We're out of the 45 zone. Let's go back to that. Let's put that up. Let's take the brakes out of suppression. Are we accelerating? I think I've got a throttle lockout there. Let's turn everything off. Let us put this back to 80. Well, we've got an 80 coming up, so let's put that back to 80. That's tricky, that. Let's put the throttle on. There we go. So I got myself in all sorts of not trouble, because we recovered it. Recovering is the main thing. But there was some confusion there as to what actually was going on. That was to do with the safety systems. I didn't expect it to drop us down to 45. So right now, as a first look, that's one thing that I'm going to look at, how to get that better for the next time I use this. So I think using this the signal aspect display here, there's better ways to look at what your next speed is. So this is telling us it's 125. I think this is our current speed. Yeah, so it's gone to 100. So it's gone to 125. We're doing 80. Right, so now that's telling us the line speed and the safety system speed are both 125. So I need to keep my eye on that, don't I? So let's put this back up to 125 because we want to be on time. There we go. Right. So if I keep my eye on this, both 125 at the moment. That's the alerter. I don't mind a bit of challenge though, and I'll be quite chuffed if I get to the other end and I've not done the tutorials. So don't follow my example if you're new to it. Definitely do the tutorials because they'll help and they might save you some frustration. But I think that in my case, certainly with my level of previous experience, I think I can probably manage through to get to the other end. So I'm not too concerned. But yeah, the good thing is that the tutorials now, as of TSW3, are much, much better. So have a look around the training centre, do some training on the safety systems, take that in, and definitely try it with the safety systems. It's much, much more rewarding, honestly. Don't be scared of having an emergency brake. It's all recoverable. And if you follow any of the ambassadors and you get stuck on anything, just drop a comment in either one of my videos or one of the other ambassadors' videos, and I'm sure they'll help you out if you get stuck with something. And of course on the DTG forums, don't forget to visit the forums, share your experiences on there. Some nice screenshots actually of all the new content going up on the forums today. I saw that DTG Alex and JD have created some forum posts, and let me put the brakes into suppression, and yeah, I'm not really sure what I put that down to, what's the order that I need to do that to when I need to restrict the speed? Does that make sense? Doesn't make sense, does it? So when I've got the cruise on, and now I've got the traction interlock again, so let me turn all this off to reset it, and I've hit the bell by mistake. So if I put that up to 110 where I want to be, what I'm doing is I need to do this in reverse, don't I? So I can't. Right, hang on. Let me get that to 110. Let's get that to max. Right, so that'll accelerate back up to 110 now. Let me get the bell off. So if I get a speed reduction now, It's 110 now. Let's say we go down to 80. I'll need to acknowledge that we're going to 80. And what I've been doing is cutting the throttle off, then the cruise control. Do I need to bring back the cruise control simply to 80? I don't know if that would do it quick enough. I need to experiment with that. So if you're not using the cruise, obviously it's easy. You just put the brakes, you turn the throttle off, put the brakes into suppression. That will handle. Put it in suppression and acknowledge. The train knows that suppression will bring you down to the 80, so it's not bothered. But if you're using the cruise control, what is the correct order for turning off the cruise control or reducing the cruise down to the 80? That's what I'm not quite sure of on this first look. It's a minor thing, as I said, because you can see we do know how to recover whilst the train is still rolling, which is good. So now you see, I can see I've got a 105 coming up. So I can kind of, you know, anticipate this by already going to 105 with the cruise control. So let's see what happens. It shouldn't disagree with me because we're already there. $400 yards to go. See, it's counting down. Can you see it counting down? The number starts to count down there to the 105, and also the bottom right of the hood as well. So we can go to, let's just do some experimentations. We go to 110, and we've soon got a 95 coming up. Let's have a look outside, by the way. We have a slight tilt. So we'll see if we can do this without braking this time. So I'm keeping my eye on that 110 down the bottom right hand corner because it's going to start reducing any time. By 15. Is it from 500 yards? There we go, it's starting to reduce. So if I put the cruise down to 95, is that fast enough? Penalty brake. I don't think that's fast enough, is it, to get to 95? It does. I got the penalty brake though. Okay, so now it's bringing me to a stop. So let's take the cruise off. Let's do that. Let's put the cruise back on again because we can go to 125. Let's do it to 105 for now. Right, so we've recovered again. 110 we can do. Turn that bell off. The thing is, you see, on the controller, the horn is the left stick, and as I'm using the left stick to move around, I'm putting pressure on, so the bell is starting. So I did get the penalty brake because I used the cruise to bring myself down to 95, but the cruise doesn't do it quick enough. So I'm assuming then we need to get the power off quick and get the cruise off and use the brake to get down to the 95. That's my current theory, anyway. So we've got something here on the right hand side that we are passing. The NJT, which that is the stock train. That is the stock train and cab core for this route. And we can go up to 125, so let's do that. We've got 27 miles, so we've had a bit of an adventure, haven't we, with the safety systems. It's just fact-finding, that's all it is. It doesn't spoil the enjoyment at all. This is a first look, after all, and it also proves that things are working as they should, which is good. It's also good you don't have to come to a complete stop. You can recover whilst you're still rolling, and you don't actually lose too much speed. So we've got a clear. I don't understand the approach medium, approach clear, etc, etc. I don't understand that yet. That's something I need to teach myself. But as far as basics goes, I'm pretty much there, I think. Just gliding through these buildings. I love the fact that the buildings come right up to the rails, which happens quite a lot, doesn't it, on some of these US routes? It's like they just built, you know, it's like the cities were already there, and the rails were just put on stilts and plonked in the middle of the cities. Harlem and Long Island Railroad being two examples. All the buildings are very close in on those two routes. So we've got a 145 coming up. So I believe on this route there are some sections where you can do 150 miles per hour. So there we go. We can go up to 145. Let's give that a go. Actually, we've got a 130 coming up very soon. So let's not go beyond 130. You can see the ACES is counting down to the 130. So it's giving us a chance to get down to the 130 before we hit it. And that will be because of this curve, I expect. But the 145 is coming back again in 400 yards. 22 miles to go into Trenton. So the ACES is 145, then the line speed catches up, I'm assuming, once the end of the train passes that point on the track. Let's get up to the 145 if we can. Very nice fast service, isn't it, this one? Take another screenshot while we're here. I think this is going to look good in the weather, in the snow. There's the Amfleet cab car, go past the other way. So we got a 130 coming up in just under 2 miles. Lots of detail in the cab, quite like that. Right, got a 1 mile to the 130, so why don't I anticipate that? And you can see now it is counting down with me. Can you see the ACES is counting down? It's catching me up. So the cruise control doesn't quite slow it down enough, but it should let us get away with it, I think. There we go. It just depends how early you anticipate that the speed is coming down. If you're a real driver, of course, you know all the sections on this route and you know the various speed changes. 17 to go, 16 actually. So we do have a 150 section coming up, looks. We got 145 just now. And then in around half a mile we'll get a 150. I don't know how long the 150 section is for, but I'm assuming the 150 section is all straight track such as this. I can't imagine we'll be taking any curves at 150, but let's see. Right, here we go. Right up to the 150. I thought actually there would have been a trophy on PlayStation or Xbox achievement for going to 150. It's not actually taking me to 150, is it? The cruise is set to 150, but it's keeping me at 149. But yeah, I thought there would have been a trophy for reaching the top speed. There's the 150. There we go. Ticking the miles off quite quickly. And I've gone quiet because I'm just enjoying the run. It really is a nice run. Some may say that, you know, going in a straight line like this at 150 isn't much fun. There's not a lot to do, but there is. You've got to watch the systems. You've got to still keep to time. You've still got to manage everything, and you know, make sure you do it properly and you do it safely. So I don't mind this at all. Very relaxing, a very relaxing run. I bet it's not relaxed if you're doing it yourself. If you're actually driving the train, I bet you're not relaxed. Not at this speed. So we've got a 135 coming in. I'm going to anticipate once again with the cruise. I'm going to start bringing us down early. And any time now, you should see the ACS will start counting down the 150 down to 135. There it is. It's just starting to count down now. But we are already there, so we're good. Alright, 7.8 miles. And we've got 5 minutes until we're due in, so I think we'll be okay at this speed. So don't forget, just as we come into Trenton, plenty more to come on the channel. So much content for the US this week to cover, so we will do that. We will do a couple of live streams as soon as we can get those scheduled in. But in the meantime, just look for these individual videos going up as and when. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. I really do appreciate that. We're on the road to 2K subscribers. And I think we're about 300 subscribers off that, so we've not got long to go. Plenty of Train Sim World content. We've also got Train Life at the moment. Fern Bus is coming if you like buses. Tourist Bus, we've got on there all sorts of stuff on there, not just simulation, all sorts of different variety games. Go and check that out. And if you like what you see, please do subscribe. I would appreciate that. And of course, leave me a like. All YouTubers say that, don't they? It is important. It's definitely important. But if you've got this far in the video, thank you for watching and sticking with me. Happy to have you in our little community. Right, we're just under 4 miles out of Trenton. And let's get the throttle off. And let's get the brakes in. Let's get it in suppression. See, I've gone... Yeah, see, I've done it again. Although we do actually need to get to 80. The brakes are still in suppression, so that's fine. I've turned that bell off. I've done it again. See. Why don't I set that to 80? And take the brakes off. Put the throttle up there. Brakes released. Take that off. Put that back to max. There we go. Okay, so now, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take the cruise control off. Put that in suppression. Because we're just outside the station, I'm not going to fiddle with that cruise control. I'm assuming that cruise control probably comes off in a real situation as you approach. And we manually drive it into a station. Not sure, I need to check on that. Seems a bit fiddly to me, as I've said all the way through. Anyway, we're clear to 45 on the ATC, so we'll stick right around here. It's pretty flat. There's a slight downhill coming into Trenton. Got just under a minute until we're due in. The ATC is keeping us at 45, even though the line speed is higher. So always take, with these safety systems, always take the lowest of the two. So you see the blue dot is 45. That's the ATC. But you can see, I think that's 85 is the red dot on the hood. That's the line speed. Always take the lowest of the two and you should be fine. So we're not bad on time, are we? We're going to be... Let's put in suppression again. Throttle's already off. We're going down to 30. We're not bad on time. I'll be happy with that. We have been having a mess around with these... we've been messing around with these safety systems, so that has, you know, been the difference. We're due in at 43. We've just gone over 43. It's probably about 44 by the time we get there. Not too bad for a first run. And a bit of a discovery. And now we've got to go to 20. So it's good. It slows you down safely as you come in. Because if you're not using the safety systems, I always had this problem on Boston Sprinter, Route 128. If you've seen any of my live streams on there, Route 128, I kind of shoot through the platform quite often because a lot of these stations are on a big straight line like this one. And if you've nothing assisting you, if you don't know the route and you've nothing assisting you to slow you down, you leave your braking too late. So again, that's where these systems come in, because it's not letting us go above 20 along the platform, which is great. And all we need to do now is slow down. because that red light is right there, look, at the end of the platform. So just be mindful of that whilst you're learning the route as well. Let's get the doors unlocked. There's the flap, look, the door control flap. And this is Trenton. So this is where our service ends. So I hope everybody's enjoyed that as a first look. I really have enjoyed it. Thanks for coming on the journey with me. Don't forget, remember to subscribe if you like what you see. Also, give me a thumbs up, give me a like. That all helps me get noticed. Big thanks again to DTG for giving me access. Take care, everybody. Enjoy the new content. Let me know what you think. And I will see you on the next one. Bye for now.